The Toronto Raptors just squeaked by the Orlando Magic. 110-109 is your final. Welcome to the Scotia Club inside the Scotiabank Arena. I'm Randy Urban, and this is Raptors Night Cap. And tonight, we're joined by Paul Jones, Sherman Hamilton, and Jevohn Shepherd. Jevohn, welcome to the show. First time?
First time. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Maiden voyage.
Maiden voyage. Are you nervous?
No.
You got a whole plate of sushi in front of you.
This is Sherm's.
You got to share.
I knew he was going to be okay when they were bringing the food, and the guy said the sushi. Goes, oh, you can leave that right here.
Yeah, Ross is like, who wants the sushi? Jevohn's like, yeah, me. Sushi for me.
You can leave that right here.
I took one for the team.
Yeah.
One for the team.
All right, let's get into it, guys. A lot was made prior coming into this game, obviously, because Barnes gets drafted number 4 by the Raptors. Suggs goes 5 right after him. People want to talk about it, but for me, Barnes was impressive throughout, Jonesy.
I thought he lost a little bit of his aggressiveness after he got hit in the eye. He kind of slowed down a little bit in the second half. I'll tell you, Suggs is a good player too, man. Like in Orlando, there are a lot of young mouths to feed in Orlando.
Yes.
They've got, like Mo Bamba really hasn't played a lot. He's out there. You look at Cole Anthony, who's still a young player. RJ Hampton, you just have so many guys, and it's great that they have Jamal Mosley because that's what he's about, the developmental part of the game. But man, it was a great battle tonight, and you're right, Scotty Barnes was the Raptors' offense for a time there when they couldn't get anything going.
You know what I like? I think Scotty came into this and he took it personal, right? I think this was a game where he said, okay, there was a lot of questions whether the right pick was him or Suggs, and he put a ball on it tonight. I think he came out and he has that game that, forget points, but he has that infectious personality that, goes throughout the team and can get energy going and flowing on top of the things that he does on the court naturally.
Do they go say what you're going to say, but do they care?
No, I don't think they do. I think this is a story for the media.
Yeah.
I think that these two kids just go out there and play basketball.
You get drafted 4th overall, you're not going, I'm going to go take down the number 5 pick. Like, play better at least? You're not thinking about that?
No, I think these guys go out there to play well. They're obviously going to match up against other rookies and want to play better than them.
Yeah.
But this is not an ongoing storyline, I think, between these two guys. In the media, we've made it a story, but I don't think they really care. It's one spot in their draft, and both guys are going to be required to do a lot for their team. So they're both going to have an opportunity to be important factors of each team's success. So I don't think this is an issue in terms of
I'm a competitor. I'm silencing it. I'm going out there and
But you're doing it every night.
I'm doing it every night.
Against the fourth pick.
When we match up, when we go head to head, we go head to head, there's going to be a little extra juice.
But you're doing it against the first pick, you're doing it against the second pick, the third pick, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. Every pick you're going to go.
I would say this.
Absolutely, you're
to
going
Sherm's
against
point.
everybody.
It did become a story because the draft went in order, right? And every year somebody breaks the draft, somebody goes off script, and it's like, oh, did you see who they took? It happened early this year, and I said it when it happened on draft night. Oh boy, according to the experts, the Raptors broke the draft. Well, Scotty Barnes is number 2 in rookie scoring. As these guys have said, you look at what he's doing for the team, the rebounding, the energy, everything else that he's doing. He's blending in, he's moving the ball, he's assists, his IQ. So how can you argue that it was the wrong pick? As Sherm said, it's just a story for the draft experts, and they're not in a war room.
Yeah, Sherm, you know what I like about his game right now, though? It's his relocation when he's off the ball, right? He's seeing the play develop. Like, OG was posting up at one point in the second quarter, and I'm watching Scotty Barnes find a spot to go, and he's usually going just above the free throw line, and he's getting it there, and he can make that little floater, making the, obviously the mid-range is not what people want, but he has that game.
Yeah, he plays an all-round game. And, coming into the season, we all heard the length, the athleticism, the ranginess.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes is a smart basketball player.
Yes.
And there's got to be more attention paid to his cerebral approach of the game. How he operates without the ball is impressive, but with the ball, his decision-making, his pacing, his ability to space the floor, the variety of shots he can make from different parts of the floor, it's very impressive for a young player to be figuring this out so quickly. So I love his athleticism. I love his length. I love all that stuff. But between the ears, he thinks a pretty good game at such a young age.
There are times when you watch him and he's got the ball on the perimeter and he thinks, I got a good matchup here. I'll get rid of it and I'll go into the post. Or I'm close enough at 15 feet, I'll just back my way down and finish down low. And to Sherm's point about that, he understands how to play. And this is something that we talked about when he was drafted. You get guys from particular programs. You get a Leonard Hamilton kid, Jonathan Isaac. Patrick Williams. You get these kids that understand the game because of the way they've been taught.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes is one of them.
Yeah.
And to both your points, there's always this conversation about Scotty not being able to shoot the three ball. And you're right, like, he plays the game so well in the half court. A part of the game that's been negated for so long right now. He continues to do that. I'm not concerned about his three-point shooting because he's a willing worker, right? If he's able to now put in the work, put in the effort, from shooting from the three-point line is only confidence and reps, and he's willing to do that.
Great point, and have some sushi.
Now, and to that point, I always said this, when you get a kid who's a defensive player or is a well-rounded player and you say, okay, we're going to work on your shooting, that'll come.
Yeah.
Kids go to the gym and shoot.
I just got to dive in this.
Go ahead. I noticed the plate's right in front of us, so it's okay.
I'm trying to be new Brandon.
Use your fingers. It's all good.
Jonesy, he's a better shooter than I thought.
You can't leave him on the three-point line. He's going to make a shot.
Yeah.
Because everybody coming into the draft, everybody said, well, he's not a good shooter. Well, the kid will show you what he's about.
Yeah. All right, let's move on a little bit. Fred and OG, I thought they were a little bit light in the first half, and then really turned it on. How did they do that?
Sushi man.
But they started out light, but who took over the game in the
Yes.
end? That's what your veterans do. That's what they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to win basketball games. And we've seen that here in the fourth quarter, late part of the fourth quarter.
Fred was great in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I really, this is kind of the temperament of the team. When you see Fred and how he operates, there's a certain temperament and no panic in what he does. And through three quarters, no, he didn't have his best stuff, but he was in the fight. He was making enough plays. Then when the game was on the line, your leader stepped up and did what they're supposed to do. 26 points between them in that fourth quarter. So both of them understood the timing and how to do it too. It's not like they eliminated everybody else to get their game off. It was in the flow. And I think it starts on the defensive end with their leadership and it spills into the offensive end. But we've been around Fred enough now to understand that there's never going to be any panic.
Never.
He's always going to understand a methodical way to go about his business. And more importantly, he's going to understand how to keep everybody engaged while he's going about his business. That's a balance that some players can't strike.
Did you golf, Herbs?
I mean, if you can call it golfing, the ball's not going.
So I know Shep's recently into golf.
I can beat Sherm.
And Sherm's into golf. So I'll say this.
You can't beat Sherman.
In a four-quarter basketball game, like the 4 rounds of a tournament, sometimes you don't have your best stuff.
Right.
And you bat your way around the course and you grind out pars, and all of a sudden, like, you make a birdie when it's important because you've been patient and you've been grinding. And I look at the Raptors that way tonight. Like, it just didn't seem like the intensity was there or the energy was there consistently the way it was against Indiana. They're up, they're down, they're in it. All of a sudden they make a few birdies. They go up 12 with a minute to go, and that's enough to get them home. Right? Same kind of thing. You may not have your best stuff, but you get through it. You find a way.
I'll say this. I mean, this was a station-to-station game. The Raptors earlier in this regular season have been able to get up in transition, play a lot of up-tempo basketball. This game, they had to come down, credit Orlando for some of that, and blame the Raptors for some of that, not playing with more pace. But they had to play basically shot clock possession type of basketball. They figured out in that third quarter, Gary Trent Jr. triggered it with his energy and his ability to be active, a better pace. Got a bit of a lead. Then they went station to station again and had to grind it out. So again, learning how to win in different ways through an 82-game schedule, it's important. You're not going to win the way you want to win every night, but you're going to have to win some different styles, and you're going to have to fight some different styles.
That's huge. To that point there, that's huge for this young team. Not only
confidence.
Teaching Delano or Scotty. But remember, there's a number of guys that are in different positions this year. Fred's in a leading position. OG's in a leading position. You have to learn to pull games together and win different styles, different types of games. And this was a good one, right? For the fans, it was great. The coaches are probably pulling out their hair, but you think for these players to be in this situation and learn on the fly is huge.
Well, you mentioned Trent there. Obviously, big time for that deflection too, right? Like, that's a huge play.
Think about Nick Nurse pushing the right buttons. Like, would you say that, okay, I'm going to put Gary Trent in the game at the end? Like, he might not be your first thought. And the thing that's impressed me over the first 6 games is his activity, his hands, his activity with his hands. And sometimes you would tell kids, don't reach in like that, but he's quick, he's reaching in, he's knocking the ball away. And it's not necessarily, oh, I'm just moving my feet and staying in front of a guy. He's in the guy's shirt. He's in the guy's had to turn his back. He's not like, what a perfect time for that deflection.
Yeah.
And he's a guy you put in for that.
Yeah.
And he's so young, that maturity as well. When I laugh because I look at it and I'm thinking, when he went into training camp and seen all these 6'7", 7'2" wingspan guys, he knew he had to make the extra effort on the defensive end. And as young as he is, to be able to turn that switch, he could have made excuses for himself, but he came in and he started on that defensive end.
Well, two things. Number one, Gary Trent, to me, really, he's active defensively, but it's the multiple efforts per possession on the defensive end that he makes. He might deflect the pass. He gets right back into the play. He's in front of somebody. He's contesting a shot. He's deflecting. The multiple effort plays per possession have been phenomenal. The other thing is, we talk about all the youth on the court, but Mosley on the sidelines for Orlando, rookie coach, and you kind of wonder if that timeout needed to be called.
Yeah.
Because when the Raptors were able to get their defense set and get the substitutions that they wanted, that possession looked very different other than Jalen Suggs coming down in a scrambled situation. And look, we talk about Scotty Barnes, and he's been phenomenal. Jalen Suggs has a certain confidence and composure about his game that he understands how to do things at a young age as well.
Yeah.
Might not be the flashy style like a Scotty Barnes, and it's fun to watch Scotty, and he's going to be great. But Jalen has some game in him, and I thought, as a young player, young coach, maybe that was an opportunity to allow him to see what he could do early in the season. See what he can do.
Learn to win a different way, right? Learn to win. That's Jevohn said.
Yep.
You talked about multiple efforts. You're going to have multiple wings at some point here. Like, you're just letting
Why are you so concerned about my food
you.
consumption?
I made those
We're
for
off
you.
the air in a little bit. Don't worry.
Two things, Raj. Number one, you didn't make those. Number two, you would never make them for me. Number three, if you made them, I wouldn't eat them. That's the truth.
All right, I got to stop you there. Appreciate you guys joining us, except for Sherman. Next game for the Raptors tomorrow night in Indiana, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.
Tried them first.